Today we're in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, and we are at the site of the very first bridge that spanned the Cuyahoga River, connecting the east side and the downtown of Cuyahoga Falls. It used to be known as Prospect Street Bridge. Today it's known as High Bridge, and unfortunately it has a pretty tragic history. Come along on the journey, won't you? This bridge was kind of the gateway to a large amusement park where about 8,000 people a day would visit. And today it's just a nice park with a gazebo. The entrance to the amusement park was right around this area, most likely near this post right here. And then there was a staircase that went down into the ravine where the Cuyahoga River is. And they're out down there. Now it's important to realize that amusement parks back in the Victorian era are nothing like amusement parks today. Those amusement parks were, well, for leisure activities, not for thrill rides. Although this did have a giant pavilion and ballroom and one of the earliest roller coasters known to North America. Most people spent their time here down in the ravine with nature, walking across bridges and looking at fantastic light shows during the night. But this video isn't about the amusement park. This video is about the horrors that happened on this bridge. The bridge itself has been prone to several accidents over the years. People who have jumped or driven off the bridge. But there are two horrific events that happened by accident. And because of those accidents, and because of the location of the park itself, there have been plenty of apparitions and EVPs that have been found in this area. Now today the geography has changed a little bit. Behind the bridge you can see State Route 8. It's a main route that heads north and south through the state. Well, I want you to imagine back into the Victorian era when cars didn't exist, let alone that thoroughfare. This bridge cut right to the other side of the river and up the next street, which is Prospect Street. In May of 1883, Gus Schuler and Martha Klein were in a horse-drawn carriage coming to Cuyahoga Falls from Akron. So they were coming from that direction to where I'm standing today. The bridge was under repair. There were actual sections of the bridge that were missing. And so while the bridge was being repaired, they set up barricades on either end. Well, it was nighttime and they didn't see the barricades, nor did the horse that was pulling their carriage, who walked right through the barricades. Needless to say, that was not a happy event. The horse fell through the first hole just about a quarter of the way, well, maybe even an eighth of the way up the bridge. And the carriage fell right behind the horse. Nobody knew that this accident happened until the next day when a passerby looked down and saw a horse perched on a ledge in the ravine. And from the looks of things, I've got to think, again, sorry for the loudness, I've got to think that that ledge right there at the bottom of the other side of the bridge is where the horse landed. The carriage itself landed in the water and was shattered into hundreds of pieces. So they sent out a search party as soon as they saw the horse there and as soon as they saw the carriage down in the ravine. They looked for a week and didn't find anything until the next week when they found Martha's body downriver. They weren't so fortunate with Gus. They didn't find Gus until the next year when they found his skull. And that's all that they found. The first real tragedy of the High Bridge. The second tragic event, and probably the most well-known, happened on a beautiful Tuesday afternoon on June 11th in 1918, when the Mountain Line trolley made its usual run around a sharp curve before heading across the bridge. So the trolley was coming from Akron to Cuyahoga Falls, and it was crossing the bridge. It had stopped on the other side at a depot to let two people off, a young mother and her young child. That left 6 people on the trolley. It made its left-hand turn to come across the bridge, and halfway across, the front wheels derailed. The trolley turned sharply to the north. The north side planks gave way, and the trolley went over, crashing into the ravine below. Flipped over, landed on its roof, and smashed flat like a pancake. And it was thought that everybody had died. They had a rescue crew from local fire departments come and help lift the remains of the trolley and get the remains of the dead out of the river. When to their surprise, they found out that there were 2 survivors. Leroy Bessemer, who was the motorman, and Henry Van Loosen, who was an attorney, both survived. But they were mistakenly put in the cart with the remains of those who perished. It wasn't until somebody happened by that cart and saw one of the bodies move that they realized that a mistake had happened, and they called for a doctor. Bessemer had a head wound and a broken leg, and Van Loosen had a pretty severely crushed skull, but both of them survived. Both of them were taken to local hospitals and lived to be old men, which is pretty awesome considering what they lived through. But the other 4 were not as fortunate. Hopefully they died on impact. Off the beaten path just a little bit before I get back to the loud sounds of a rushing river. We are in Oakwood Cemetery, and there are 2 people that are buried in Oakwood that did not survive. The first one is O.D. Gilmore, and we are standing with his grave right now. Mr. Gilmore was the trolley conductor on the day of the incident, and he is buried here next to his wife, Artis. And here we have the final resting place of a bank president who was on the trolley. His name is Emery Pryor, and this is where he is buried on his family plot. Okay, that's it from the serenity of Oakwood Cemetery. Now back to loud, rushing water sounds. It said that the steel frame, which was so damaged, was basically worthless to anybody who was looking to make any kind of a profit off of it. So they left it. So in the summer, when the water levels are low enough, there are times when you can look in the river below that bridge and you can still see the remains of that trolley. Now, because the bridge obviously is over the Cuyahoga River, the sound of the river creating the white noise, and, well, just a river itself is what paranormal investigators call prime real estate for paranormal activity. So EVPs have been captured, voices saying, get help, look, hello, help me, have all been captured down by that river and in the surrounding area. And there have been apparitions sighted of men wearing top hats, which would be appropriate for the time that the Glens amusement park was here around that bridge. So I would encourage you, if you are ever in the Cuyahoga Falls area, just to come down here and enjoy this area. It's beautiful, especially in the spring and fall. Summer it's a little hot, but the closer you get to the river, it's a little bit cooler. But at least come down and explore the place and see the bridge. It's a great place to sit with your family and look out among the river or across the river. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Jerry Holland, who is the author of this book called Haunted Akron. You can get this on Amazon. A lot of the information that I got about this video was in this book. So head on over and give it a look. It might be something you're interested. It goes into great detail about the Glens amusement park itself and the tragedies that happened, the horrific events that happened here at the bridge. Okay, short and sweet, but I thought I'd stop in and say hello and let you know that some of the things that you see just out and about in the regular world sometimes have a deep and dark past. Thanks for watching, everybody. Click subscribe, like, all those good things, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.